When you think about what makes a house valuable, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Location, right? But what if that same location, the thing you prize the most, is also its greatest enemy? Today, we're going to look at how a very specific set of local conditions can literally wage war on the roof over your head. So, to really get into this, we're going to zoom in on a fascinating case study that brings up a huge question. Why on earth does a roof in one particular city in Colorado just give up? I mean, it fails up to 30% faster than pretty much anywhere else. What is going on there? Well, the answer, as it turns out, is a literal perfect storm. And I don't mean just one thing. It's this unique cocktail of hyperlocal climate conditions that just creates a relentless assault on people's homes. So let's break down exactly what that storm looks like. Okay, so the place we're putting under the microscope is Commerce City, Colorado. This is a spot where a unique geography and a whole series of powerful climate factors all converge to create one of the absolute toughest environments for a roof anywhere in the country. One source really hit the nail on the head with this quote. It said, Commerce City sits in a unique position where front-range weather hits hardest. Now, what that means is, it's not just a place with some bad weather. Its specific spot on the map means it gets the absolute worst of everything the region can throw at it. So what does that onslaught actually look like? Well, this isn't just about a bad winter here or a rough summer there. No, this is a consistent, four-pronged attack. Let's break down the four distinct climate threats that basically team up to destroy roofs in this area. All right, threat number one, the sun. Now, you might not think of that first, but listen to this. Commerce City is over 5,000 feet up. At that altitude, the atmosphere is just thinner. That means roofs get blasted with 25% more intense UV radiation than they would at sea level. This intense sun literally cooks the shingles, making them brittle and aging them way, way faster. Threat number two is hail. And for this city, it's not a question of if it hails, but how often. It's sitting smack in the middle of a primary hail corridor. We're talking 3 to 4 serious storms a year with hailstones big enough to put holes in shingles and dent metal. It's just a constant barrage. Now, the third threat comes from these wild temperature swings. A winter day can go from, say, 10 degrees at night all the way up to 50 in the afternoon. So what happens? You get this destructive freeze-thaw cycle that leads to something called an ice dam. So picture this. The snow on your roof melts, runs down to the cold edge, and then refreezes into a wall of ice. That wall traps the water behind it, forcing it to go backward, up and under your shingles. That's how you get leaks deep inside your home. And the final threat? Wind. The terrain around Commerce City is super flat, so there's nothing to slow the wind down. Plus, you've got this wind tunnel effect from the nearby wildlife refuge. The result? Regular wind gusts over 40 miles per hour. That wind gets right under the edge of shingles, creates what's called uplift, and can just peel them right off the roof. So, after getting hammered by all that, a roof eventually starts to show the signs of surrender. Now we're going to shift from those invisible forces to the real, tangible damage that a homeowner would actually see with their own eyes. And here's what that surrender looks like. You ever see that sand-like stuff in your gutters? Those are the granules that got cooked off by UV damage. Shingles curling up at the edges? That's a classic sign of heat and moisture stress. And those dreaded water stains on your ceiling? Yeah, that's the calling card of an ice dam or wind-driven rain. Every single sign points right back to one of those four threats we just talked about. Okay, so the problem is clearly climate-specific, which means the solution has to be too. This isn't about just slapping a patch on a leak. It's about building a complete defense strategy, one that is engineered specifically for this incredibly harsh environment. And this is where it gets really practical. To fight back against those high winds, the local building code actually requires shingles rated for 110 mile-per-hour winds, and they have to be installed with a special 6-nail pattern to stop that uplift. To combat those ice dams, the code demands a special ice and water shield. You see, it's a precise engineered response for each specific threat. So here's the crucial takeaway from that. In a place like Commerce City, those local building codes, they aren't just annoying red tape. They are the absolute bare minimum survival guide for your roof. And they were written based on years of seeing what fails and, more importantly, what survives. And of course, putting that survival guide into practice isn't a DIY job. It requires a really structured professional approach. It all starts with a super detailed inspection to find all the stress points, then moves to a pro installation that follows those strict codes to the letter. And it all wraps up with a quality check to make sure that defense system is actually going to work.
Now, even if you don't live anywhere near Commerce City, there is a really powerful and universal lesson here. So let's pivot from this one case study to the big takeaway that applies to every single homeowner, no matter where you live.
It's this, plain and simple. Your home's biggest, most significant, and most unique threat is your local climate. It doesn't matter if it's the blistering sun of Arizona, the humid, salty air of Florida, or the heavy, crushing snows of the Northeast. Your location has its very own perfect storm. Which really leaves us with one final question for you. I want you to take a second and think about where you live. What is your home's perfect storm? Is it flooding rain? Is it high winds? Heavy snow? Something else entirely? And here's the most important part of that question. Is your home truly prepared for it?